Well, hello everybody, welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make banh mi. Now I checked lots of videos of making banh mi from an English person and some Vietnamese people, because banh mi is a Vietnamese style bread roll which resembles in some respects a French baguette, but I'm not entirely sure that the outer crust is as crisp. You can certainly have a very crisp crust, but the one I'm going to do is going to be a thinner crust. It will still be crispy, but it will be thinner. And I'm doing this based on a recipe that I found from Amy's kitchen, and she included egg and butter, which most recipes don't, so it may not be necessarily the most authentic of recipes, but it certainly looked very, very good. I'll put a link to her video below my video as well. And it takes a little bit of time because you have to make the dough and prove it, and then you have to shape it. And I'm going to use a particular type of pan for holding my dough, but I will also refer to and show you alternative methods for doing that. So I'll go on to the ingredients. And for the ingredients, I have 500 grams, which is 3 1/3 cups of bread flour. I have 7 grams of yeast, which is, I think, 2 1/4 ounces, one packet of yeast. I have 2 teaspoons, 8 grams of salt, 6 grams of sugar, which is about 1 teaspoon, 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, and 28 grams of butter, which I have melted. I also have 5 grams of bread improver. Now if you don't have this, it doesn't matter. It does help with the dough, but it's not absolutely crucial. You will still get very nice rolls without that. And bread improver is that if you try to buy it, you buy a large packet or a large bag of it, and for the sake of using just 5 grams, it's not worth it. I also have 265 millilitres of water, and that is 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon. And I'm going to do this in the food processor. I think that's the easiest way. And the first thing I'm going to do is to put the flour into the processor bowl and add to that the bread improver, the salt and the sugar, and I'm going to give that a mix around. Like that. Then I'm going to put my yeast in. Give that a mix around as well. And then I'm going to add the butter and the egg. So I'll put the egg in first and then drop the butter on the top. And the water. And I'm going to knead those on a very low speed, 1 or 2 on my stand mixer, for 1 minute. In fact, I'm going to do it for 2 minutes. I want the dough to begin to get mixed in. Okay, so that's been 2 minutes, and obviously the dough is very sticky, but it's beginning to get combined. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the speed to a medium speed which will be about 6 on my stand mixer, and I'll just show you what that speed looks like just for an indication. So I'm going to mix that on that speed for 10 minutes. But after 5 minutes, I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to rest it for rest the dough for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to start the mixer again and mix it for a further 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, the dough is quite elastic and it's still a bit tacky, and I'm actually going to just rest that for 5 minutes, and then I'll do another 5 minutes on that medium speed. Okay, so I've now kneaded that for 10 minutes, and I have a nice elastic dough, which I'm going to take off the dough hook. I want to form this into a ball with a nice smooth surface on the top, like that. And I'm actually just going to get just a little bit of flour on my hand to make it slightly easier. So I'm creating a bit of tension in the dough, but it's forming, it's nice and smooth on the top like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that seam side down into a greased bowl like that, and I'm going to take just a little bit of oil like that. I'm going to rub that over the top, like that, and then I'm going to cover that with plastic wrap, and I'm going to leave it in a warm, draft-free place until it has at least doubled in size. I'm expecting that in my kitchen to take at least an hour, so up to 2 to 2.5 times in size, and then when it's doubled in size I'll come back and we'll go on to the next step. So my dough has now more than doubled in size, as you can see, and I'm just going to set that to the side for a minute while I speak about the pan. So this is the pan that I'm going to use to make my banh mi. I'm going to put sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will have 6, so I'll have to put 2 in 2 of the slots, and that will hold the shape for me, and it will bake them quite nicely. But if you don't have one of those, you can still make these, and the thing you need there is some sort of cotton cloth, a pillowcase or a tea towel, an old tea towel or something, which is clean. And what you do is, in fact I've put my rolling pin here just to hold that in place. You form a wall there and another wall here. So you cover this with flour. So it has to be covered with flour so that the dough doesn't stick to it. And then having covered it with flour, you make as many ridges as you need. You may need to have a longer piece of cloth here. So you have 1 ridge, 2 ridge, 3 ridge, and you can put 2 in each. And you form the walls like that, and that will hold the dough in place. And then when you're ready to bake them, you simply carefully take them and put them onto a parchment lined baking sheet, and they're ready to bake. So what I've done is I've put some oil on my work surface, and I'm going to tip the dough out onto it. With the shiny or the smooth side down, like that. So I have my smooth side down, and I'm going to just flatten that, and then I want to divide that into about 6 equal pieces, which will actually weigh 141.5 grams or thereabouts, but you can eyeball it if you want to. So I'll divide it in half and then into 6, and then I'm actually going to weigh mine, but you don't have to do that. So I have my 6 pieces divided, and I'm now going to shape them. And what I want is, I want a triangle, and I want to extend that top. So what I'm going to do is to take the dough and just flip it onto the counter like that. I'm going to do it a couple of times. Like that. And then I'm going to take the end and I'm going to roll it up tightly, and as I roll I'm going to push the outer edges. I'm not going to touch the centre. I'm going to push the outer edges to seal them like that. Pushing back. And then when I get to this end, I want to flatten that as thin as I can. Like that. And I'm actually going to squeeze the seam together just a little bit if I can, and I'm then going to put it onto my tray like that, and I'll do one more and then I'll do the rest without you seeing them. So I take the top and start to fold it down, pushing back all the time. I'll put it on the tray like that. So I've rolled them out like that, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with oil. And then I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap, and I'm going to leave them to rise again for an hour. And during that time I would preheat my oven, as the hour is coming to an end, to 210 Celsius. That's 190 Celsius with a fan, 410 Fahrenheit. And I will also put a tray of water in the bottom of the oven to create steam. And then after the hour I will come back and we will slash the top of the banh mi, and we'll bake them in the oven, and then we'll go from there. So I'll be back in an hour when these are ready to go into the oven. So the dough has now rested again for an hour, and my oven is preheated. So what I'm going to do is, and I have my tray of water in the oven, and I'm actually going to spray water onto the top of each of the pieces of dough, and this is to try to ensure that the dough doesn't stick when I'm slashing it. So then you can use a razor blade or a knife or whatever you have, as long as it's very, very sharp. And I'm going to take my blade and I'm going to cut a single slash all the way down the length. Like that. And then I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to bake them for between 22 and 25 minutes until they've risen and they've baked nice and they've turned a golden brown colour on the top. After 2 minutes I'm going to open the oven again and spray some water in. After 12 minutes I'm going to open the oven again and take the tray of hot water out, and then I'll finish baking them. Now I just want to caution, when you open the oven, open it slowly, the steam will come out and then you can open it more fully. So I'll put these in the oven and I'll be back when I've taken them out and they've cooled down. I baked the banh mi for 22 minutes and took them out of the oven. I tested with my thermometer and they were clearly cooked through. So I've let them cool down, and I've cut one in half just to show you the inside. And it's nice and crisp on the outside, but it's got a thin crust and nice and soft, as you can see. So I'll just sort of tear this one. So that you can see that it's nice and stretchy inside. And I'll have a taste of this piece. It's lovely and soft, and I'll try the crust as well. I think this is very good indeed. This would be perfect for my lunch. I don't think I will fill it with the same food that the Vietnamese people would, because I'm not a great one for spicy food. But a ham and cheese salad roll would be very good for lunch. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video, and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to this recipe, and I'll put a link for it below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.